Okay, there's something that I failed to mention in the other video, and hopefully that video wasn't too long to upload to YouTube. I'm trying to keep track of the time because I know that will only let me upload 10 minutes, and I tend to talk a lot, and 10 minutes is gone before I know it. Anyway, again, my name is Nancy Woodruff, and there was something that I wanted to say about my ex-husband, Philip. I said he called her every week. I said he paid his child support on time from the time she was 2 until she was about 14. What happened was, I was homeschooling her, and I was a single parent for 8 years. This has a lot to do with my other ex-husband, John Sack, who walked out on me because I wouldn't stop helping homeless people. I was homeschooling my daughter. I was a single parent for 8 years, homeschooling her, and I found situations where I could live with people and take care of them and take care of my daughter at the same time while homeschooling her. She scored in the top 10% in the nation every single year. But the problem was, from the time she was born, I told her, you're going to love school, you're going to love school, because I hated school. I hated it. I got great grades, I got straight A's, but some of the teachers I didn't like, and I didn't do so well in their class. Kansas Plains History in Lawrence, Kansas. That teacher was so mean to everybody, not to everybody, but to a few people in the class. She'd come in and she'd start yelling at people, and I just didn't like her, so I just didn't study. Well, I still got a 3.53 GPA, and I went to several different high schools because of moving around a lot with my mother, not because of military. At any rate, I knew that if I had gone kindergarten through 12th grade, I should be able to teach kindergarten through 12th grade, or at least that's what I thought God was telling me, because I had this real sense of, oh, I can't do it, because that's how they make you feel. They make you feel inadequate. But I'm going to tell you that she only went 2 to 4 hours of school a day. When I homeschooled her, she learned a lot on the computer. I had her reading by the time she was 4 years old. It was so easy. All you got to do is start teaching them their ABCs, point it out to them, start reading it to them, but teach them how to sound it out. And before long, you know what? They're reading. She was reading. Then I put her in kindergarten, and she loved kindergarten, but she became a problem. She came home with behavioral problems that she was picking up from the other children in the class. And then I homeschooled her the 1st grade. My heart was in panic, but the state of Washington says that your children don't have to go to school until they're 8 years old. So I thought, I'll just do it, because she don't have to go to school until she's 8. I've got at least 5, 6, 7 years old to see how well I do. At the age of 8, they either have to go to school, or you have to have some kind of proof that you can homeschool. That means that you either have to have 2 years of college, or you've taken a homeschool course. And I can tell you the homeschool course was great. What they taught me was that children learn 3 different ways: auditory, visual, and kinesthetic. And that if I could incorporate these 3 things, that my daughter would do well. And to make sure that I tested her at the end of every year. They recommended that I do it a different way to have them evaluated. But what I did was I took my daughter to the nearest public school and had her tested right along with the rest of the children, so no one could say that I didn't have her tested. She scored in the top 10% in the nation every single year. And all I did was went to garage sales, I went to used bookstores, I went to Homeschool Potpourri, and I picked up her books, and I checked out how many pages was in there, and then at the beginning of the book I wrote 4 pages each day, Monday through Friday. She took Saturday and Sunday off. 5 pages each day. It just depended on how many was in each one of them. When she went through her math, she did every other problem. She didn't do all of the problems, and when she got it, she didn't have to keep going. She could move on to the next page. So if she got her 4 pages done in 5, 10, 15 minutes, great. If it took her 2 hours, great. But she had to do it each day. And you know what? She didn't sit there doing boring work. She didn't go to school till 8 o'clock in the morning until 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then school all night long, trying to fit in her dance classes, her flute lessons, her piano lessons, her going over to her friend's house, her going to the homeschool co-op where she took science, and all those fun things that she did. She kept saying, I want to go to school, I want to go to school, I want to go to school, but she didn't understand how much fun she was really having all day, every single day. But she did great. When she was 14, she went to live with her father, Philip, because she wanted to go to school. So she did. I'd already homeschooled her through her 9th grade. And she scored the top 10% when she took the WASL, Washington Assessment of Student Learning, which, by the way, only 50% of students in Washington are passing. But she did 2 to 4 hours of school every day, and she scored in the top 10%. And some things, she was in the top 1%. Reading, math. She did her school on the computer. When she went to school in the 9th grade, she was typing 66 words a minute. And they said, "How is she doing that?" And she said, "Mavis Beacon teaches typing. She learned on a computer. She learned algebra on the computer. I didn't have to teach her. I didn't have to worry about whether I knew it or not. I went and got the program." And when you go to places like the Homeschool Potpourri, they got the programs for next to nothing. Or you can go to garage sales and they got them for next to nothing. Or you can get them on sale at your nearest Office Depot. You can get them on closeout. It doesn't make any difference. She's teaching herself Japanese on a computer. She loves it. She learned how to draw anime. She learned how to do all kinds of things. When she went to school at 14 years old, she did her 9th and half of her 10th in 1 year and got a 4.0. Then the next year, she did half of her 10th or 11th grade and got a 4.0. She went to her 12th grade, she got a 4.0. She got the highest SAT in her class, and she got a 4-year college scholarship to the University of Louisiana at Monroe with dorm. She's in her 4th year. I'm so proud of her. And you know what she took? You guessed it, computer science. Anyway, that's my story. I just wanted to say that at 14, that's why he no longer paid child support, because she went to live with him. And I would also like to say, on behalf of him, he then didn't make me pay child support to him from 14 to 18. But this to say that I did drop $50 off of his child support from the time she was about 5 or 6 years old until she was 14. So that $50 a month really did kind of count for about $150 a month towards child support for her, for him taking care of her, because that's what would have happened. I didn't have a job. That's all I would have had to pay anyway. So it really all kind of worked out in the end. I have a great daughter. Her father is who he is, and that's the way things are. And at least I'm so happy that they have a relationship with each other. When he remarried to his wife Trisha, who's no longer his wife, but was, every time he called, I would say, "Heather, ask Daddy if you could talk to Trisha." So every single conversation, she talked to Trisha. And when she went out there, she spent time with Trisha. And we sent Trisha Christmas presents and thank you notes. And I called Trisha on the phone and I thanked her for taking care of my little girl. And she did too. And now that Philip and Trisha are no longer together, and Philip has found someone new in another place, my daughter goes home to her mother, Trisha. That's her other mother, Trisha, I like to say. And I'm proud of Trisha. Thank you, Trisha, for taking care of my little girl. Thank you for counting her as your daughter. Even though you and Philip aren't together, you still love her and you still let her come home, just like she was your little girl. And I just want to thank you so much for all that you've done for her. Thank you, Trisha.